Hello. Today we're going to be taking a look at our focusing question, which is, what are myths and why do people create them? The first thing that I would like you to do today is to take a look where it says launch in your OneNote, and it tells you to review the Myth Analyzer of Victoria. You will notice that this is the Myth Analyzer that you had to fill out last week. And even if you got a sticker for doing it right, I would like you to take a moment to read through the whole Myth Analyzer, because the information in there may have been something that you missed or something that was new. So I'm going to ask you in just a moment to pause, to review the Myth Analyzer, and then I would like you to come back to the video. You can pause now. Welcome back. Did you learn something new about what this myth solves that you might not have known last week? Well, it's really important that as we continue with myths, that we analyze all of these parts. We know what is happening, or what does the myth solve. We also want to continue to look at the themes. And remember, the theme means what is the bigger picture, or something that I should be learning from this myth or even story if it's any type of fiction. And what aspects of this myth do we see in our lives today? So now, as we move forward, I'm going to scroll down here in my OneNote, and we're going to be listening to a myth, because I'm going to read it to you, and then you're going to read a new myth. So there's 2 new myths today. So let's start off with this myth that I'm going to read to you. And I want us to be thinking about, is it a creation or morality myth as we're listening? What is the theme of this myth? And are there any new vocabulary words that come from this myth? So I am reading to you Gifts from the Gods. And this one is called Grace. Grace is a noun. It means seemingly effortless, beauty of movement, form, or proportion, a disposition to be generous or helpful, to give beauty, elegance, or charm to. And it says, but if you take my voice, said the little mermaid, what will I have left? Your lovely figure, said the witch, your grace of movement, and your sparkling eyes. That was actually from The Little Mermaid. So let's get started with the myth. I'm going to start off and show you this photo, this illustration here. Look at it closely. The 3 goddesses called the Graces were always invited to festivals and celebrations. Whenever they arrived, heroes stopped boasting, poets recited with greater eloquence, musicians played more passionately, and philosophers spoke with deeper wisdom. Elegant and charming, the Graces radiated generosity, beauty, and joy. Wreaths of sweet-smelling myrtle encircled their thick, glossy hair. Gossamer gowns floated around their bodies, and their dark eyes sparkled with pleasure. Yet, none of them were jealous, for their presence enhanced everyone else's beauty. I'm going to show you that again. Here you can see, here are the 3 Graces, and you can even see the wreaths that are on their heads. I think it's really cool that no one was jealous of them and that they just appreciated their beauty. Nor were the Graces ever jealous. When the goddess of beauty and love, named Venus, arrived from the sea, the Graces ran down to the shore to welcome her. Before they allowed anyone else to see Venus, they rubbed her body with scented ointments and clothed her with silken garments. On her head, they placed a finely wrought crown of gold. Then, satisfied that she could not be made lovelier, they brought her to Mount Olympus, where the other gods greeted her. Well, my, that is quite a welcome, isn't it? You can see her down there arriving from the sea, and the 3 Graces preparing her to see everyone else. From that day on, Venus, like many other goddesses, became so fond of the Graces that she asked them to attend her as often as possible. It is no wonder their name came to mean all these things that are charming and elegant. And there's a picture right here, and you can see her meeting Zeus. The name, the Graces, for these goddesses came to us from the French. Their Latin name is Gratia, because Gracia means both pleasing and thankful. The sweet helpfulness of these goddesses survives not just in a host of words such as graceful and gracious, but also in several words that express the thankfulness, such as grateful and gratitude. So all of those words come from the word grace. I really like this myth, and I would like you to take a look now at the summary chart that I have listed that goes along with this myth. So let's take a close look. You're going to scroll down, and even though you're not going to see me, you will hear me, because while I'm talking, you're looking at the summary chart. So the title of this myth was Grace. I wrote down that this was a morality myth. It did teach people something, and it taught them that people who are gracious are admired by others. So if you act in this way, where you are welcoming, where you are gracious, where you are not jealous, other people will admire you. Isn't that something we could all learn from? So next I have, what is the theme or the big idea or the lesson that was learned in the myth? Being graceful or gracious is a trait that can help others feel better about themselves. People will admire those who are gracious. And then the last column is vocabulary. Are there any new words that come from this myth? And I wrote down, as I read to you, that grace comes from the Latin word gratia. It includes words like grateful, gratitude, as well as graceful and gracious. So, now that you have an idea of how to fill out the summary chart, you are now going to read a new myth. And your myth is entitled Arachnid, and the main character's name is Arachne. You're going to read all of that. If you would like to have help from an adult, you're more than welcome to, or you can read it on your own. And then you're going to fill out another summary chart. Now, when you go to fill this out, I am looking, not that you just fill in those 3 blanks for the chart, I'm looking for the same quality as the one that I just explained to you. So when you go to answer it, you need to answer it and give me details. So that's what I will be looking for. If you have not done that, then I'm going to ask you to go back and redo it. So I wish you lots of luck with this. I think you're really going to enjoy reading our next myth. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Have a great day, everybody.